I was raised in a practicing Christian home. Sunday school, church picnics, Bible study, the whole deal. My father was a pastor. Truth, for us, came from Scripture, and everything else was measured against it. As I grew older, I found myself fascinated with science. I became a medical researcher, studying biology and ancient history. I never imagined religion would ever make its way into my scientific life, until I stumbled upon the name Dr. Maurice Bucaille. He was a French surgeon, brilliant, respected, and by all accounts, not a religious man. In the 1970s, he was assigned by the French government to examine the mummy of Pharaoh Ramses II, which had been flown from Egypt to Paris for preservation. What started as a simple medical investigation turned into something unexplainable. Dr. Bucaille discovered that the body was remarkably intact, even though all evidence showed he died by drowning, something that normally destroys the body rapidly. He wrote about how confused he was. How could a body drowned in the Red Sea survive like this after 3,000 years? Then someone told him, almost casually, that Muslims believe this pharaoh drowned chasing Moses, and that his body was preserved as a sign for future generations. That sentence hit him hard, and when he opened the Qur'an, he read this verse. Today we shall save you in your body, so that you may be a sign for those who come after you. Surah Yunus, 10 hours, 92 minutes. When I read that in his book, I froze. I actually closed the book and just sat there. How could a 1,400-year-old scripture mention something that was only confirmed by modern forensics a few decades ago? This wasn't vague spiritual language. It was precise, scientific, specific. That moment became a pivot point for me. I began reading the Qur'an, not as a skeptic, not as a believer, but as a researcher. Like Bucaille, I wanted to disprove it, or at least rationalize it. But the more I read, the more I saw signs that it wasn't the ramblings of a desert man, as we were taught, but something far beyond him. There were verses on embryology, ocean currents, the origin of the universe, even the barriers between salt and fresh water, all scientifically accurate, all centuries ahead of their time. Maurice Bucaille spent years doing the same, and at the end of his journey, he wrote something I'll never forget. The Qur'an does not contradict modern science. In fact, it confirms in the most astonishing ways. And then he did the unthinkable for European scientists. He accepted Islam, not out of emotion, not out of rebellion, but because the evidence led him there. He once said, "I didn't come to Islam through feelings. I came through facts." As a Christian, that shook me. I'm still Christian. But I now look at Islam with deep respect, and at the Qur'an as a book that deserves more reading and less judging. Because whether you believe or not, the truth doesn't fear investigation. And if God is real, then surely truth will always point to him. My reflection, Dr. Bucaille didn't become a preacher. He stayed a scientist. But he showed the world that faith and science are not enemies. They can walk side by side. He made me realize something I never heard in church. Sometimes God speaks in a language only the mind can hear, and the heart finally understands.